Hi friends, welcome to my English. Today I'll be covering advantage disadvantage essay of writing task 2, and in this lesson we will be discussing how do you analyze an advantage disadvantage based question type, what is the structure of writing such essay, and we'll take a look at a solved example. So let's get started with today's lesson. How do you analyze the question? There are mainly three types of advantage disadvantage question. One is wherein you talk about only the advantages and the disadvantages. The second is advantage outweighs the disadvantage. And finally, it is going to ask you what are the advantages and disadvantages of something and what is your opinion about it. So it's important that before you write your essay, plan your ideas and organize them so that your ideas are clear, and decide the main advantages, main disadvantages, plan your ideas, opinions, examples in the first 5 minutes. Ensure that you write in a formal tone. Understanding the task is very important. If you're asked what are the advantages and disadvantages, you are not being asked your opinion, right? So if it is only this case, you're not supposed to write your opinion. You simply have to discuss the benefits and the drawbacks. And you can do this in 2 body paragraphs. Body para 1, the positive points. Body para 2, you talk about the negatives. But if it is the outweigh, so if you have the word outweigh or will this trend have more positive or more negative effects, then you're asked your opinion basically. And you must say that there are most of positive or negative effects. If you don't do it, you may get your score reduced on task response for not fully addressing the question. And similar is the case with advantage and disadvantage and your opinion being asked separately. Okay, now the structure of such essay is going to be, the first thing that you do is you, in the introduction para, you paraphrase the question, introduce the advantages and disadvantages, and you write the outline statement that this will be covered in the main body paragraphs. Main body para 1, which is a supporting para also, you introduce the first point, that is the advantage, and you explain with supporting details and strengthen your views by giving examples. Similarly, in supporting para 2, which is the main body para 2, you introduce the disadvantages mentioned in the introduction and explain by giving details, supporting ideas with relevant examples, and explain how this is a disadvantage or how this is an advantage. Now, conclusion. You have to give a brief summary of main points, the important pros and cons that you discussed above, and words like balance, compensate for outweigh kind of a question. So keep your conclusion short and crisp. Okay, now let's take a look at the structure of an outweigh kind of a question. So introduction, sentence 1, paraphrase the question, write down the thesis statement, state which one outweighs the other. It is important. So outweighs, outnumber, outperform, or more positives than negatives. Then write the outline statement. So basically, if it is an outweigh or an opinion question, for both outweigh and opinion, you have to give the thesis statement. So basically, it's asking for your opinion, right? Then you come to the main body para 1, which is your stronger side. So if it is your disadvantage side that is stronger, then you have to make this the bigger one. You can talk about the advantages in the first para itself and the disadvantages in the second, and then you talk about why it is strong. So, and as you see, we have to include at least 2 or 3 points in the stronger side, right? So this should look like a bigger para and this should look like a small one, and where you talk about the topic sentence, why it is weak or why it is not strong. Then you give the summary of main points and restate your position. Now let's take a look at a sample question. Advantage, disadvantage. In order to save traffic problems, governments should tax private car owners heavily and use the money to improve public transportation. There are 2 parts to it. One is government taxing private car owners heavily, and secondly, use that money to improve public transportation, right? So such a solution, what are the advantages and disadvantages? So it is a simple, straightforward question. How do you write it is, you first write the paraphrasing and the outline. No thesis is required. Then you come to the body para 1, wherein you can start off with one of the best advantages, another benefit, right? And then for instance, you can quote the example. Similarly, nevertheless, so you're talking about the drawbacks first and foremost. Then you're also writing the example and then explaining it. And finally, the conclusion. that this solution is worth considering improving the current situation, but there are advantages and disadvantages for introducing such a policy. Coherence devices can be one of the best advantages. Another benefit, it is often the case. As a result, for example, nevertheless, at present, first and foremost, in addition, whilst, it is therefore, to conclude, and such a policy. So, this is a model answer. I hope it was understandable. I hope it helped you. I will come up with the next lesson very soon. Till then, take care and God bless. Bye bye. Thank you so much for watching.